Upper.
Welcome back, listeners.
Morning, casuals.
Today we have a special guest. We have Mr. Andy Platt, who has played over 450 top-class games in the English Super League. And at the time, he played for the ARL with the New Zealand Warriors, and he played 29 tests for Great Britain and England. Thanks for joining us, Andy.
No,
Thanks, Andy.
Pleasure.
How's life, mate? What do you get up to these days?
No, mate, it's good. Been here a while now. Townsville's home. Love it. A lot of people say, why Townsville? You know, why didn't you go to Sydney or Brisbane or whatever? And there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm from a working class town in the north of England, and there's a lot of similarities, not in the place, but in the actual people. I think, you know, it's a blue collar town. That's where I'm from. That's where
that was actually going to be my next question. Like, Wigan, what's it like in Wigan and growing up there and stuff? Because I don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's northwest of England. It's a very tough working class area. Wigan, St Helens, I'm right in the middle of there. I mean, it's nice. The weather is obviously dictates a lot of the stuff you can do. Summer you can do more, winter not so much. But the people are, you know, they're down to earth. They're grounded, and they're very similar here in Townsville. Yeah, and
that's awesome.
That's really what I found, that I really connected with Townsville because of the people, and I've got a lot of friends here, a lot of friends back home too. But you know, I've made a lot of friends and made a life here. I love it.
What brought you to Townsville originally?
Well, I had to go at everything really.
Yep.
I was Auckland and then back to the UK, played Super League there, and then went coaching up at Workington, and it just wasn't for me. I just knew that coaching
needed some better weather.
Well, the weather. I mean, there's a lot of stories. I can tell you some stories. I think, I was at Workington. I was player coaching, and I really shouldn't have been playing. I was finished. But they said to me, no, we need you to play and we need to coach. So you play.
How old were you at this stage?
I was probably 35, 36. Yeah. And, mate, it's a hard gig. Like, coaching is a hard gig, especially in those second tier things. You know, you are it. You're doing everything. You're doing the video. You're just doing everything. You're making sure that everything's right and blah, blah, blah. And then it was... I think they were paying me £20,000, and Jesus, it was a big gig for 20 grand.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll cut this to the short. When I first started there, I went to the boys. I said, "Look, blah blah blah. This is what it is." I said, "I don't care what you do in your own house or whatever." I said, "But rule number one is, if we're playing on a Sunday, I don't want you drinking on a Friday or a Saturday."
That'd be hard to tell the boys sometimes, wouldn't it?
These guys are second tier, you know what I mean? They're not getting paid a great deal of money, but I just said, you know, it's a small town. You can't be drinking out on the things on a Friday or a Saturday. You know, if you want to stay at home and get on the piss, that's up to you. You do whatever you prepare best, but you can't be in the pubs and the clubs. And that went for 90% of the time brilliantly. Anyway, coming towards the end of the year, I'm lying in. I've been in bed since 7, 8 o'clock at night. We're playing the next day, and then which was a half important game for us in that second tier. And Amanda, my wife, came home, and she's woke me up at about 2:15. I said, "What are you doing?" She said, "Oh, I've got something to tell you." Oh no, come on. She said, "No." She said, "Keno, the centre, he was one of my best players, one of the senior players." Yeah. She said, "I've just seen him in the nightclub, just dancing around." And I went, "Oh, God's sake, no, you're joking." She said, "No." And she said, he come up to me and he said to me, look me straight in the eye, he said, "Don't you tell Andy." So I thought, what do I do? Anyway, I never slept the rest of the night, didn't know what to do. Got to the game, opened everything up, got everything ready, and anyway, first or second fella in was Keno. I said, "Mate, you got to come in the office." And I come in the office and I said, "Okay, what did I tell you right at the start of the year?" He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "What did I tell you right at the start of the year? I said to you, I don't care where you go, what you do. If you want to drink or whatever you do it at home. Don't be in the nightclubs." I said, "Amanda saw you in the nightclub and then you went up and you asked this. Don't tell Andy." He said, "Look, okay, I'm coming clean. I went, well, at least he's coming clean.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? He's coming clean. He said, but there's one thing you need to know, Andy. He said, I've got very, very stiff hips and hamstrings. If I don't dance on a Saturday night in the nightclub, he said, I'm just not loose enough. And I looked at him and I said, are you serious? He said, 100%.
Fuck, how do you say that with a straight face?
That was his warm-up,
I couldn't believe it. And I said, well, unfortunately, you're not playing today. He went, I can't believe that. I said, you're not playing. That's it. He said, but I'm straight. I said, I don't care. That's it. He came on another thing. I've rang Amanda and I've rang and asked her to her, can you book a couple of flights to Australia, mate? We're going back there. I said, I'm done. He looked me straight in the eye and said, you don't understand. I need a stretcher and I need a training on the dance floor.
That's the best.
In what mind did he think that was gonna come across all right? You know? What was he thinking?
He felt that was he could
He
not
prepared that
believe
one in
it.
the mirror.
Imagine he was being serious, but he had to get the mobility and the fucking open his hips up. And
The worst thing was, he came to me, we played at the game, we won the game. He come to me, he said to me, you don't believe me, do you? I said, absolutely 100% I don't believe you. I said, go home and dance on your own in front of the mirror. I said, don't in a nightclub.
do some fucking stretching at home. Do some
fucking
yoga or
hell.
something. Oh, shit.
So that was me coaching, and then so that was me.
Then you're like,
And,
bail out back to Australia.
yeah, we left pretty much a couple of months later, and then we started off as everybody does in Sydney, looking for something. Didn't know what we were going to do, and then Sydney wasn't for us. And then we just flew up to Port Douglas, Cairns, and worked our way down, just looking for stuff. And we ended up in Early. We bought
Nice.
a motel in Early in probably early '99.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so Amanda had been in that sort of thing before. We looked at it, bought it. It was pretty new. We was there for a couple of years. Went from there to Brisbane. We were there for a couple of years. Went from there to Cairns. Palm Cove, and then Palm Cove. Then Jonathan, my eldest boy, he came over. He was playing a bit of footy in St Helens, and then he obviously wanted to look at what could happen with the cows, so it was too hard in Palm Cove for him. So we moved to Townsville, and he went to Wiggy.
Nice.
He was a couple of years older than me at Iggy
Yeah.
Park.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So
He was a solid player too in his own right, wasn't he?
yeah, no, he played good. He played 60 odd games in the Q Cup for the Sunshine Coast, which was aligned both with Manly first and then with Melbourne.
Yeah.
No. It's a hard gig for those kids, that come after you. 'Cause the poor kid was, they call him Andy, the poor kid was Jonathan, and you know what I mean? So it was hard for him.
Yeah,
but
big shoes to fill. Yeah.
yeah, no, he did really well.
So what about just going back, rewinding a bit to sort of growing up and how you got into footy to start with, and was that the main sport around at the time where you were in the north? Was it up in the north?
Because Union people play Union pretty big over there too. Is a Union more like a college, like a private school thing or something over there?
No, exactly.
And rugby league's more of like the state school thing.
Well, I guess 90% of the kids, both male and female, they play soccer. Everybody plays soccer.
Yeah, of course.
As a young kid, right?
Yep.
Which
That's even pretty common here in Australia.
Yeah.
A lot of people play soccer as kids.
And I think it's a great grounding for a lot of athletes, especially team sports. A lot of hand-eye coordination gets you anyway. So I played soccer, and then I went to a grammar school. There's no soccer at grammar school. You play rugby union and cricket, and that's it. You get a choice of both those two. All boys school. So I was playing rugby union, and one of the fellas that played in the union side, the school side, he played on a Sunday, and they was playing rugby league, and they were short. And he said to me, "Oh yeah, it was 3 or 4 of us. Could we back up on this? Played Saturday in the union, and on the Sunday played league." We did that, and I loved it.
Less fucking rules, less confusing rules.
It was great for me. I mean, I just
Get the ball and chuck it up.
Absolutely different, completely different. I enjoyed the union, but I enjoyed the league, and I probably excel more at the league. So it's a no-brainer for me. I played Saturday, Sunday, probably for the last 2 years of school.
Yeah,
and then I got picked up by St Helens when I was 18, just as I was finishing the last year.
Yeah, righto. So straight from school, you moved into
Absolutely, yeah.
What level were you playing there out of school? Straight
So
into the.
I was 18, just about to turn 19 in the October. They signed me in the June or July. I didn't know where I didn't know where I played. Or I was going to play reserve grade, obviously, or whatever. And I think that year I played 19 games or 20 games, and I think about 12 of them were off the bench.
In the top tier.
Yeah.
Straight into it.
Yeah. But I played mostly in the centre. I was too small.
Yeah.
At 18, I was too small. I played lock or loose forward, as we called it, for the under 18s and that all the way. So 16, 17, 18, I played lock, loose forward. But I wasn't physically big enough at 18, 19 to play. So, so off the bench, I was pretty good. When I got tired, it threw me on. I was all right. So I played mostly centre when I came on. That was the first year. And then the second year, I started to get a bit bigger and a bit stronger.
Yeah.
So you started with St Helens, you said?
Yeah. So
And how many years? did you
Oh,
stay
yeah.
there?
You've had a bit of success at St Helens. Oh,
yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing that happened at St Helens was in '82 we played the Kangaroos.
okay.
They'd never lost a game, so you imagine. So I was still playing. So that was '82. So that was my first year, and that was about October. So I'd signed in the June or July. I'd done a pre-season. I'd sort of played maybe 1 or 2 games, but the A grade side got into the Lancashire Cup final. So there's a lot of different competitions in England that you play. St Helens had got to the final. They were playing Warrington, and that final was the week after that St Helens, because in the old Kangaroo tours, you played.
Yeah, they played club teams
played
and
all the
stuff,
club
right?
teams.
Yeah.
So the week before, the Sunday before, St Helens were playing Australia, like the Kangaroos, and the coach decided that he wasn't going to play any of his first grade.
Oh, yeah. Rest them up for for the final the next week.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So he's come to me and said to me, "Righto, you're in. You're playing lock."
Straight into it. Fuck.
I've looked at the Australian side. Oh my god! I didn't sleep for a week. So I'm looking at the 13. It's Ray Price.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
I'm an 18-year-old, just turned 19-year-old kid. I've got Ray
Where did
Price.
he play at Parramatta?
Parramatta.
And he was just a
Mr.
hard old
Perpetual
bloke.
Motion.
Yeah.
He was like me. But their side, I mean, I can't. I'll try and remember them all, but I can remember most of them. Greg Brentnall, Kerry Bolstead was on one wing, Eric Grove was on the other. The 2 centres were Steve Rogers and Mal Meninga.
Jeez.
They had Kenny and Sterling.
Fuck.
And then the front row was a fella from St George, stocky fella. His son used to coach the Cows. Craig.
Oh, yeah. He was his son.
Max Krilich.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Les Boyd.
Oh, some tough old forwards there.
Rocket Reddy.
Yeah.
Wayne Pearce. And Ray Price.
Fuck. And you're what? No, I mean,
I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep the whole week. I know, I'm
what,
not
just
kidding.
get pumped or?
We got beat 32-0, and
Yeah.
I was devastated.
Yeah.
It's a massive. It used to be a massive. It still is a massive thing when Australia go over there, but with the club sides. So it was a sellout at St Helens, and
Packed, yeah.
standing. So there would have been 28,000 people there. And I'm just going, what is going on here? I'm looking at Ray
Good
Price.
introduction to it.
I'm looking at Ray Price, where I'm not really looking at him. You know what I mean? I'm looking sort of down, going, oh, dear.
Fuck.
Third play of the game is a scrum, right? We've won because it's not the old, it's not where you feed them in and you get it.
They
It's
contested. Yeah.
A real scrum.
We've won the scrum. They give it to the winger, and Ray Price has gone down the black side, and they've collided. Bang! He's cut his head from there to there. He's off. I've just gone, oh, thank fuck for that.
Relief.
Unbelievable. No, we got beat 32-0 the week
What was
after.
the why do you think there was such a big? Oh, well, obviously it's a test side playing a club team, but like them players back there, why was there such a big difference? Do you feel like just?
I just think I'm not 100% sure. my feeling was probably those late 70s, early 80s were great years for Australia.
Yeah.
They'd built on 1970, whatever, was the last time England won the World Cup.
Yeah.
That was Mal Riley and all those fellas. And we hadn't really progressed. And Australia had taken the game to a different level.
Yeah.
They were fitter. They were just, it was a completely, they were playing a different game to what we were. But, I mean, as I said, we got beat 32-0. I was devastated. It was predominantly a reserve grade side. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was just fantastic to play in. But the week later, they played Great Britain at Hull and Great Britain got beat 46-4. So I wasn't that really that upset, you know what I mean? But it sort of showed you what where you need to be and what needed to go on. And that 82 tour, that the Invincibles changed England as well. So they just went, right, we're going down the wrong path here. We've got to change a lot of stuff with our youth and
the system the whole way to bring them through and stuff. Yeah. Now, I've heard Sterlo and that talk about that that Invincibles tour and stuff, and it was unbelievable, the team that they had. But it sounded like they had some fun times over in Great Britain as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, we then the year after, so 83. So Sterling went to Hull, Kenny went to Wigan. We got Mal.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Because they didn't. They weren't playing concurrently. It was a winter. We played in the winter, which was your summer. So they could come over.
I sort of played back to back.
Yeah, I didn't realise that.
It just changed the whole game. And when just like the influence of Mal and Sterling at Hull, Kenny at Wigan. So Wigan that year, Wigan played Hull in the Wembley final, and it was Sterling against Kenny.
Yeah,
which was just. It was just.
Do you think a lot of the English players sort of fed off that and learnt a lot and built off them guys being around the clubs?
Oh, absolutely.
And how was it having Mel at the club with you guys?
Oh, it's brilliant. He was just a great bloke.
Yeah,
still is. He just had different skills that we'd never seen before. You know what I mean? We actually played Wigan in a Lancashire Cup final at Wigan, and he scored 2 in the first 25, 30 minutes, like one interception, and then one they gave it him, and he must have palmed 16 people, including 15 from the crowd. Scored in the corner at Wigan. It was like, I mean, there was still a lot of St Helens fans there, but they just gone, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I was still there. I was on the halfway going, oh my God. You know what I mean? It was just, he had
it all, size, speed, strength.
He was brilliant. He was great. And that was I think one of the main things that changed in the UK after that 82 tour.
Yeah. Hey, before we get too much more into your playing career, I've been asked, this is a bit of an inside scoop here, I'll probably look like a good podcast. I've been asked to ask about your dog Sheba and Uncle Alan negotiating your first contract.
Oh.
I don't know where these even fit in a timeline or that, but what's the go here?
Yeah, well,
you probably know where these come from.
Yeah, I know where they come from. I know they come from. Look, you could write a whole podcast on those two things. I mean, the dog was a Labrador that we got from next door. They had the litter, and we ended up getting it. She was the naughtiest dog of all time. Like you're getting ready to go to school, because we were still going to school with the dog. She'd just pinch everything, your shoes, and you're running.
Was this when you were a young fella?
When we were kids at home, yeah. So they'd be pinching my brother's shoes, and it'd be pissing down with rain. You have to run around, you're getting ready in your uniform, but that's it. But my Uncle Alan, well, yeah, it was a different scenario. He was my agent,
Dodgy agent.
Wanted to give himself the job or something.
He gave himself a job. And
negotiating skills weren't the best.
I don't know. he sort of called it as he saw it, but Yeah, he probably wouldn't go down well now. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how far he'd get.
All right, we might just leave it at that then.
Yeah.
He must have. Did he have anything to do with this one? Because from
Yeah.
St Helens, you went to Wigan and you
Yeah.
signed at the time for a record £140,000. This is in 1988.
Was that
That's pretty big money
unreal?
back then.
Wigan Warriors.
Well, it wasn't the Warriors, but the Warriors and all that came in. But so St Helens and Wigan are probably in the rugby leagues. They're the arch enemies. They hate each other.
Oh
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
I mean, you just like it's really
So going from St Helens
Yeah,
to
that's-
Wigan, was that like?
nobody ever did it really.
Yeah.
Well, so
I did it.
you copped it from the fans.
Well, there was before me, but that would have been a long time before me. And then I did it, and then Gary Conley did it, and I was just glad that Gary Conley did it. It took a lot of heat off me.
True. Yeah, you copped it, eh, or what?
Well, I signed in '88. I'd been on tour here with Great Britain. While I was here on tour, the Wigan chairman was here. He spoke to me. So Graham Lowe was the coach. So they had a chat to me. Anyway, so it wasn't hard to want to go there. They were going places. They had signed some great.
Okay.
There was no salary cap.
Yeah. Okay.
And so it was a no-brainer for me to go. I just thought that for me personally, that's where I needed to go to improve,
To get better. Yeah.
to get better, to want to do what I want to do. And I mean, loyalty's a big thing. Don't get me wrong, I get that, but I think I'd done 6 years at St Helens. I'd played 300 games. I needed something else.
Mix it up.
something further.
Progress yourself, yeah.
Yeah, and Graham, I mean, and that was 88, so we're going 82, 83, everything's going. We've got Graham Law, who, he coached the Kiwis to beat the Aussies. He was a super coach at that time. Went to Manly after that, you know what I mean? So, and some of the stuff that he was doing was it was way in front of what I was doing at St Helens.
You
know
just
what I mean?
seen it as a way to sort of, you knew you were going to better your career there.
Absolutely.
It'd be important too, wouldn't it, as a player, if you've been at a club so long, to sort of have that vision or freshen up, because you could get a bit,
Complacent sort of thing.
Absolutely.
freshen up and go to a new club and
Now,
just
you've done
have new
enough boxing in
goals.
your time.
Yeah,
You know that you've gone to the same gym,
Yeah.
doing the same stuff, doing the same thing. You get the same result.
yeah,
Sometimes you gotta completely
Branch
change
out.
it and just go, okay, I need it. I mean, not just that. Then you've got to go. You go into a club that's got a lot of players. You got to play good every week, or you're on.
yeah. That competitiveness.
You're
just
on the
sort of-
bench.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like Lowy, he kicked us all out at different times. We all spent some time on the bench there because we hadn't played good the week before, and they had the players to do that. So you had to play good every week, otherwise you didn't get in.
That's one thing that doesn't happen enough nowadays, I feel. Hey,
Yep.
people, they
Prove your point each.
once
throughout,
you've got your
yeah.
position, it's like it's locked in. But it's not that competitiveness.
You got to consistently
or-
prove your point, sort of thing, yeah.
There's probably just not enough cattle at the moment.
Yeah,
Here,
yeah.
we just don't have enough really quality players we just don't have a big enough pool.
Yeah, okay.
They're trying to expand the game here,
Yeah.
and there's probably not enough
Yeah.
players to do that. But at Wigan at that time in 1988, they were all internationals. You know what I mean?
They must have seen a bit in you though to sign you for that money back. That's big money.
Big bucks.
Well, I think the year after they got rid of all the transfer things, so poor Wigan copped that 140 grand, which, I was still under contract at St Helens, so I had no leg to stand on. So
What position did you go into when you went to Wigan?
I played in the second row.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So by that time, I'd sort of got into the test side in '88. Came over here. We lost 2-1, I think. I played in the first two, didn't play in the third one, but I'd sort of found where I needed to go, sort of thing. But I knew I had to get better, and I thought that was the best way for me to get better.
Well, you won a few comps and that at Wigan.
7 in a row at Wembley. Honestly, Aidan, I can't remember. I know the Wembley games we won 7 or 8 in a row, which was, next level at that time.
Yeah. What about So were you still at Wigan in 93?
Yeah.
So 93, you actually won Man of Steel,
Yep.
which is pretty much what the equivalent of Dally M over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It was great. I had a good.
how good was that season?
Well, it really extended from 92. So 92 we came over and toured here in 92. So that was a bit of international stuff as well. So I pretty had we still lost 2-1. But we lost the first in Sydney, won the second in Melbourne quite convincingly, and then lost a great game in Brisbane 12-6. Again, we weren't good enough, but you know,
You were getting closer.
we were
and
getting
competitive,
closer, and we'd been in New Guinea. It was a long tour. We played in New Guinea. I played half decently in that tour, and we came back, and obviously I was playing at Wigan, and I think I did okay. I think I might have won the Player of the Year at Wigan, and you don't know you're going to win, or what. It's the same as a Dally M. You go and they just announce it, and you know I won it, which is.
Was it a bit of a shock or what? You must have been playing good footy, bud, or what?
Yeah, but there was a lot of good players that playing. You know, you got Ellery Hanley. You know, you had Dean Bell at Wigan. You know, but in the comp as well, there was a lot of good players in that comp that were playing really well as well. So you don't know.
Yeah.
You never think you're going to win one of them until you do.
What was the feeling like when you won it?
Would have been
It's
stoked.
great. Yeah, it's great. I mean, it was great. I mean, it's a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Awesome. That's
It would have been wild playing in New Guinea back then. Would have been half an experience in itself.
Oh, New Guinea's
even still
They
now.
love
it
it
sounds
up there, eh?
hectic,
They're
but,
absolute
like,
super
back
fans.
then,
and you could, it would have to be it's the most popular sport up there. Obviously, it's a religion.
Yeah,
for them.
they love it
It's-
up there. Yeah,
unbelievable.
I've heard Origins up there, like they absolutely go all out for Origins because I worked up there a bit, and they reckon that like TVs in the streets, everyone gets painted up. They absolutely love it.
you reckon they got to pick what? One did they pick?
Well, the fellas I worked with followed Queensland when I was there. They're like,
I
Queensland
think
for sure.
probably Queensland. Yeah. No, I
That
mean,
would have
I
been a cool
enjoyed.
experience, but
Yeah, no, I enjoyed New Guinea.
Yep.
I remember going. We played the first game with London. We played at Goroka, and you've seen that the Aussies were the same. I think the year after or the year before, and you physically don't get strapped and changed at the ground. You get changed at the motel. There's one motel up there called the Bird of Paradise. Or something. You actually get physically strapped and get ready for the game. You jump on a bus and you go out because the stadium's a little bit out of town. And we driving out on this road, and then the road disappears to just like a grass thing, and you can see the stadium it's in the background or the foreground or wherever, and then from where you are, it's probably 750 meters, and it's just covered. It's just chock-a-block with people waiting to get in.
Just ready for it. Oh,
And
pumped
I
up
thought-
too.
And I thought, are we going to get there? Like,
How do we get through them?
there must be 20,000.
Did the bus get you all the
People
way
here.
up there? Or?
No. So we just stopped. The bus just stopped. This is terrible. But the next thing is the police came, and whatever they are, police or army came or whatever they came, and they all jumped out. And about 20, 25 of them, and they've got these sticks, and on the end of the sticks they've got these rubber things, and they just started belting.
Get out of the way, cunt.
Make clearing.
It parted like
Of Moses, eh?
it just went whoosh, and I went, oh, that's how we're going to get there.
Man, that would have been incredible walking in then.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Everyone
The
pumped
atmosphere,
up,
they
people
were
streaming.
and they're on the trees, and they're just so passionate.
Kickoff would have been full on too. Like,
Yeah, it was great. It was our game too. Jeez, it was hard.
oh, so did you just win?
Yeah, well, no, we won,
yeah?
but it was like there was no rollover. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They were tough to play against, and it was at altitude, so you was a little bit.
Yeah,
Tight.
short of breath
Okay,
and that.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And the ground was just like concrete. It was just,
True, eh? No grass.
no.
Oh, that's what-
But we had to stay up there because the flight wasn't back. And so we had a big thing after with all their players and all our players and
Awesome.
and some fans. And it
Get
was
on the
just,
SPs.
And they're just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Humble. You know what I mean? They were
Yeah.
just so, and they were just so glad I talked to you, as if they hadn't played you, as if they'd watched you. You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, mate, you played good today.
Yeah,
You went all right. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I don't know. They're very, very humble people. The ones.
What was this in the 92?
Lovely people.
It was 92, yeah.
I was actually going to bring up the 92 tour because game 2 of the Ashes, I'm just going to read a team list out here. Australian team list of game 2. They had Andrew Eddinghausen, Rod Wishart, Mel Meninga, Laurie Daly, Michael Hancock, Peter Jackson, Alan Langer, Paul Harrigan, Steve Walters, David Gillespie, Paul Sirinen, Bob Lidner, Bradley Clyde, and on the bench was Kevin Walters, Chris Johns, Glenn Lazarus, and Brad McKay, and they were coached by Bob Fulton.
Correct.
What
Stacked.
a stacked side,
And
man.
guess who got man of the match in that game? Old Andy Platt. Fucking
true.
what happened there? How the hell did you get man of the match against them freaks?
I just slipped.
I slipped onto the stage at the end.
We were very
He's won that game, yeah?
we were very disappointed in the first test in Sydney. We thought we were better than that, and Malcolm Riley was the coach. And straight away after the first test, we knew the second one was in Melbourne, and we just prepared pretty well. We had a couple of injuries, so we lost Ellery, didn't play, and Andy Gregg didn't play. They both came and they were both injured, so we lost them, and nobody gave us a hope apart from the people who were there. We had a game plan of where we wanted to play. We played at Princes Park, which is Carlton's thing. It was a little bit rainy, which
Would have suited you guys.
suited us.
Yeah, true.
And we started off really, really well.
And you were up front by this stage of your career.
Yeah, I was playing up front. In the front
How the fuck is it playing up front against like the
Yeah,
chief,
it's a
Paul
stack.
Harrigan?
Yeah, no,
like
well,
Jesus.
We had it was a. I don't think I threw any, but there was a couple of you could throw punches.
Bit
at
niggly.
that time, there were a few things. But David Gillespie, he was the hardest one. You just run at him and you just go, you just know he was going to
Prepare for it, yeah.
Terrible. But you know what I mean. But yeah,
But you got up.
We got off to a great start. Gary Schofield played really well. We had scored really early, which helped us. Eddinghausen slipped over for one, and we scored a thingy. And then they changed it at half time. They brought Kevin Walters on, and I think they started to come back at us. And I started to panic a bit, but yeah, we just kept on going. Sometimes when you go into, with a fight, you go into a game, you don't know you're going to win, but you just have that feeling that you're up for that game.
Yeah.
And I thought that we were all up for that game. I mean, it coincided with about 16,000 English people flying in that day.
Oh, really?
Into
So a bit of
Melbourne.
support.
And so it was just like playing in England.
The atmosphere was up, yeah.
It was raining. The Aussies had the rain. all the English were just giving it to them.
All the cards were falling in your favour. Yeah. So what about your game personally there? Like how did you obviously played all right?
Man of the match, good meters.
The team played all right. So you know what I mean. I think that's the secret of a team. Everybody does the job, and then you know what I mean. It's you just got to do what you got to do, and that's what you're there for, and that's all I did. And luckily, they gave me man of the match. But you could have picked 5 or 6 of our players that day that played well. I think we might have scored one or two. And then they had at fullback a kid from Castleford, and I can't think of his name, but he'd never not really played international before. He played out of his skin. You know, I just felt that Malcolm had got us in a mindset that we were really disappointed with the first test, and we were going to try and change it in the second.
Yeah, okay. What about what are some other good stories or good memories from them days touring around? Because you did the same as the Aussies would go over there and play club teams, and then a few tests, and you would play club teams here.
Surely you got a bit rowdy here too.
Yeah, we sort of played. We did play Newcastle and Manly in '88, and then where did we play? We played Illawarra and somebody in '92. Para. We played Para and Illawarra in '92. But what I enjoyed most was getting out. You know, we played New South Wales country and parks, and we played
having a look around and all that.
Yeah. We played.
Had you been to Australia
country
before these tours, or
Yeah. I played for West in 1985 in Brisbane, but I didn't really travel anywhere.
Yeah,
I went to Brisbane, I went to the Gold Coast, and I went to the Sunshine Coast. That was it. You know what I mean? But so we went. And I loved all that. That was just, I thought that was great. We went to parks and we were playing New South Wales country. I wasn't playing. I played on the weekend, and it was a Wednesday game or a Tuesday game. Have you ever been to parks?
No.
Yeah, it's freezing.
It's freezing. It wasn't a great deal there, but the game was a sellout. So I don't know, it was 16 or 17 or 18,000 people at this oval in Parks. It was a really tough game. They had a lot of old players that had played in Sydney that were playing for New South Wales country.
Okay.
However, they came to us and said, "We need you to do a cavalcade or like a thing down the main street of Parks."
Like a little float.
And he said, and Malcolm said, "Well, you can't have the players because I'm getting them ready. So you're going to have to get these." So there's about 7 of us, and we're on these like Chevrolet with no things in there, and the cheering us down. I thought,
What, like in convertibles going down the main street?
Yes.
Jeez. Celebrities.
I think it's like a ticket thing,
C-Leb.
and I don't know any of these people.
Were you
I don't
doing
know
the
what I'm doing here.
doing the
What's
little
going
wave?
on?
Doing the little wave.
But it was unbelievable. It was like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, what is going
That would have
on
made you
here?
want to fucking play.
Yeah, yeah.
eh?
Ah, yeah. No,
Strap
it's
your
just-
boots on.
But you know, I mean, I've been here long enough to know that that's how country people are.
Yeah.
and that's
Country
what-
they just love footy, eh? Country people just love
the
footy.
roots of the game. You know
Yep.
what I mean? And I know it's hard to keep everybody happy, but and I know they're trying to do that, the NRL now, and get out there. But yeah, some of those trips, even to Toowoomba and places like that. We played at Rockhampton in one of the games.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah. In '88, we played up in Cairns and played North Queensland.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. At Parramatta Park. Is that Parramatta? The old trotting place.
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I've never been up there. They still do games from time to time up there.
A good mate of mine who's here now played in that game. So I played in '88. We played North Queensland, whatever it was, and he was on the other side. I didn't know until I said, "Oh, hey, Darren, you played on that?" Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. So he actually played, and then I didn't meet him for another 30 odd years.
right.
He's here in town.
Oh,
So
awesome.
Wow, small world.
All right. So yeah, what about can you share any stories about
the
after
reality-
the games or
Should
what?
we-
Like,
Pommies love drinking.
Well, not after the game.
or was the coach like you boys can't go out and
the
drink?
No
coach,
dancing.
coach was very good.
He encouraged it.
I love Moe. It's like anything, mate. If you put it in and you're having a go, you know, he's happy for you to have it. You know, then that's the same.
You had to sort of earn.
Yeah,
earn it,
absolutely. I mean, he won't put up with you just messing around. Although there was a bit of messing around going on. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If I had to tell one story, and I've actually told this story to a lot of people in Townsville, still don't know it, but it is sort of we played the second test in '88 at Lang Park.
Oh yeah.
There was 30,000 Queenslanders, and they hated us. Anyway, a long story short, we're in a thing. Wally's playing, just toweling us. And it's the second half. And I don't know, let's say the score's 30-5, 30-6 or something like that, 30-10. And there used to be a kid, and he's actually passed now, Roy Powell, who was a 6'6", African Caribbean.
Yeah. Okay. Playing for you guys. Yeah.
Looks like Adonis. When he was just massive. So they've sent him on, and there's about 15 minutes to go. I'm knackered. I'm just thinking, let me get out of here. He's run on Roy, and he's massive, and he's just come behind. You're expecting this real big motivation. But the poor bugger had the highest voice. He just didn't have that
To sit like Mike Tyson. Look
and
like
he just come and we're all waiting and looking at him. This big Adonis and he goes, "Let's get motivated." Hoops. It was just, I just looked at everybody else and I wasn't laughing, but I wasn't motivated either.
Did the opposite, eh?
The poor bugger, and God bless him, he passed about 8 or 9 years ago. He was still playing at 40 odd and had a heart attack at training. He just passed, but he was the loveliest bloke, massive, just a big human.
just voice didn't suit the body.
Balls never drop.
That wasn't the right thing to say at that time.
Get motivated.
Let's get motivated. I just went, oh, dear. So that's about as good as it gets for me.
What about going to the Warriors when they first come into the comp 95? What was your sort of role at that time, like going into the club? Because there was a lot of young fellas like Stacey Jones and Stephen Kearney, Owen Guttenbill and stuff.
I love Stacey Jones as a young fella. He was unreal.
Well, me and Stacey made our debut the same day at Cronulla.
Okay.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So I really, really enjoyed it. I was probably a little bit too old. I went over there early, 6 months early, and I trained with Dean Bell and Tia Ropati, and we boxed, we ran, we did Pilates, we did everything. We got as fit as we could get.
Yeah.
And I had a bit of a twinge on my knee, and I just thought, I don't know what to do. So this was November. We were just starting pre-season training for the first year, 95, to play in the ARL. And I went and saw the physio, and he said, well, let's go and see the surgeon, see what he says. He had a look at it. He said, well, just do a little routine washout. Just never came back. I went in, and then I didn't play. So I thought I'd be playing in, obviously, March. First game was the Broncos in Auckland, which was already a sellout. I was nearly 2 months after that. And I don't know what went wrong. Something went wrong. It was a routine, like arthroscope with a bit of a washout.
Meant to be straightforward, and that sort of fucked up a bit.
And it's there now. I've got a new knee on there now. So it just, whatever happened. And so no excuses. I could still play, but I just couldn't. I just wasn't as good as I thought I could have been.
Okay.
But the Warriors that first year was just magical.
Yeah, what was it like? A new club, New Zealand, first club in New Zealand. It would have been, because you look now as well. Like the support around the Warriors is massive, and I feel like they all really get behind them.
That's exactly how it was that first year, 95. We averaged 24,000 people.
Shit.
Unreal.
Sold it out at home like 6 or 7 times. We sold out at home.
That's awesome.
And then Super League came in and absolutely killed it. Just killed. Anyway, Super League is Super League. It was, for me, it was a rot. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. Yeah, there's very still conflicting bloody opinions on that, and
well, you need to. It'd be interesting to ask Owen Guttenbill or Stacey Jones what they thought. I know exactly what we played at North Sydney, and we played at North Sydney in obviously over there. I wasn't playing. I'd not even put a boot on, and we came back. We got off the plane, and we're all ushered on a bus. We're taken out to the middle of nowhere. Didn't know what was going on. We all walked in this room, and then John Rebo was there and somebody else, and we all had to go into this room one after the other.
yeah.
And they were just signing people. And the dialogue was, look, guys, Auckland are going to be Super League next year. If you don't sign today, then you will not be at Auckland next year.
Jeez.
Really?
Couldn't even think about it. Just had to
So they just put you on the spot.
then
like
and
that?
there sign off.
Well, for young kids that had no idea,
Yeah.
like Stacey and that, I thought that, in my opinion, that was wrong. And
They're just roping them into it.
there was 3 players on that thing that didn't sign anything. Greg Alexander, Phil Blake, and Andy Platt.
Well,
all older, sort of.
All the
older
experience.
guys,
Saying nothing.
Yeah. And is that when you
Signing
went
nothing.
back to England after that?
No.
Oh.
I just said I'm signing nothing. They came back, and then I spoke to the coach. He said they've all the younger kids have all signed. Looks like Brandy's going to sign tomorrow and Phil Blake. I got extra money, but I hadn't played anything, you know what I mean? But I just thought that, and I think that whole fight between that, it sort of stifled New Zealand. The year after we were Super League, but then we had to go back and play in the ARL, and there was still a lot of not hate, but there was still a lot of animosity between the two things.
Yeah.
And the crowds went down from 20-odd thousand to like 12,
fizzled
14.
out a bit.
The New Zealand public had just gone, you know,
Got a bit over it, yeah.
But we're out.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is in history. And, you know, I probably didn't play my best football. I agree with that. People say that to me. I was probably a little bit busted and probably a little bit too old, but I enjoyed it. I loved it there. I loved New Zealand. It was great. I was looked after perfectly, apart from sort of that.
Yeah, the signing sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
I just wanted to play 2 years in the ARL.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to finish off with 2 years, and then, you know, and then I had to go to Super League to go, and then it was just a
Wanting to play, like, was that sort of like a test and a challenge at your stage of your career? Because obviously you'd played a lot of the Australian players and teams, but to do that week in, week out, how different was that sort of thing?
Well, I sort of could have gone to Parramatta in '92, and I could have gone to Canberra. Canberra tried to get me over there for half a season in 1990 or 89, which would have been brilliant. But just I couldn't get a release, and just things didn't happen right, so it didn't work. So I always wanted to go and do that. And John Money was the coach at Wigan. They signed big front rower Ian Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
At Auckland, and then he reneged. And so John came to me and said, "What do you think? Can you do 2 years for me?" Which I thought I could.
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, probably." So they signed me to do the 2 years.
Yeah. And just a bit disappointing that your body didn't quite hold up.
I thought I was in the best shape I had. I mean, it was the operation that did it. It just going from like where I thought it was, you know, and we had Dean and Tia, who had 2 great years, those 2 years. Well, certainly the first year for Dean, that first 95, 96, we missed out on the playoffs first year in because we were deducted a point. We beat Wests in Auckland.
Yeah.
And we had one. We thought one was a blood bin, so we had one extra
interchange.
Yeah, so we won 40-12, and they took the points off us.
And you missed the finals because of that.
We missed the finals because
in
of
a
that.
first year, no club, mate. Even the Dolphins with, like, you know, they had
with the stack
super
side,
coach
Wayne
and had a
Bennett.
good. No one makes the finals first year.
That's unreal.
And a lot of people say, well, you know, it's disappointing Auckland didn't make the finals. I think we should have made the final. Would we have won? No, we wouldn't have won it. We didn't. We weren't good enough. But you know, they played good enough that year to make the finals. We didn't. That just took over. They went to try to take it to legal and all that, but it was never going to happen.
Yeah.
What about like living in New Zealand? What was that like? The completely different culture and
Absolutely.
just get around all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely. So you've got the New Zealand, you got the Samoan, the Tongan, the Fiji, you know, you've got the Polynesian guys. That's all different culture, love, you know.
Beautiful people too.
Beautiful
Definitely
people.
been awesome
Great
to
people.
sort of submerse
So
in that
many
after.
years. Absolutely,
England.
absolutely. Completely different culture, but different.
Yeah. Yep.
And I saw some kids there that could have been anything, you know. They did go on and they got that chance that they never would have got if the Warriors weren't there.
Yeah.
But they've got such a big and vast pool of talent there.
Yeah.
It's just and it looks like they've got all that junior stuff going. They get a
it's
lot
like
of good
I
kids
feel like
they're
they're competing a bit more with the rugby now over there.
But most of them love union over there.
Yeah, it's still
it's really,
number one,
really big.
but
Yeah.
I feel like now the league is growing a lot more and probably getting more of them pathways to snatch the kids up when they're a bit younger, I suppose, rather than just going straight towards rugby. And
that's the key. You get them as young kids before they develop any bad habits and stuff, and you get them in that system, and they've got a lot.
Yeah.
Plus, it's just a beautiful country over there too.
Oh, great
Stunning.
country,
You had kids by then, so you were traveling, like you were moving with your kids. How did they go? Adapting to all the different.
One.
Yep.
And then we had one. Christian was born there.
Born in New Zealand. Oh yeah, cool. And they liked it too. What they remember of it?
I think so. Yeah. Jonathan played at Ellerslie. He was at Ellerslie thing. He played kids, and then they played obviously a bit of union too there, which was they hadn't really played that before.
Yep,
No,
yep.
They loved it. No, it was great. We were looked after excellently.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I can't whinge about anything that happened in Auckland. It was just a positive experience for me.
Yeah,
Great.
that's
Great. I mean, obviously, I let them down a little bit, but that's just how footy is. You can't do anything about that.
Yeah. Then you ended up going back to England to play a few years in the Super League.
So Andy Gregory, who I played with
Was
at
he
Wigan.
halfback?
He was the coach at Salford.
Okay.
So he got me back over there and said, "Can you do 2 years for me here?" I said, "Yeah, no problem, Greg. Yeah, I mean, I went back and played a couple of years with him. Then went up to Workington for one, and then that was it. I was done.
Old mate with the dancing bunny bloody got you out of
He'd
there.
still be in there. dancing.
Looking across like your whole career, Test footy, all the clubs you played for, what's sort of some of your fondest memories, do you think?
I always loved playing international. It was just got a kick out of it. I just thought that was the high for me. I mean, we don't have origin there. For me, the international games were the pinnacle.
Biggest challenge.
Yeah. Our biggest challenge, obviously, but the proudest,
Yeah.
I think. And, I'd speak to my mum, same for her. She'll be watching me playing the games, but I think the international games, she came over on both, in 88 and 92, came over and watched. So that was a proud moment for me. I was lucky to play however many I played.
Yeah.
So
How much have you got? Much of your old gear?
yeah, got all my old shirts.
Oh, awesome.
And what I haven't got, Christine's got it in Billings in the loft. So we keep it all. Yeah.
What about there wasn't really England around, was there, back then? Like, it was all Great Britain, and then I see, like, right at the end, you played a couple games for England. How did that sort of landscape work in the international scene over there?
World Cup.
Okay.
So the World Cup changed it all. So we used to play Great Britain, and there'd be kangaroo tours every 2 years, and then you go over there So there'd be every 4 years, but you'd go over there every 2. So every 2 years you'd play against Australia and that. And then obviously they got the World Cup, and Great Britain was obviously predominantly English.
Yeah.
But there were some Scottish
Scottish
players,
and
and there were some
Welsh.
Welsh, and then the Irish. So they've got some heritages as well. So players that were playing. So again, then they separated England from.
So there never used to be a World Cup. It was
Not really. They did. The only World Cup we did was they did where you played. If we played Australia, the third test would always be the World Cup qualifying.
Right.
So and then you played New Zealand, France, New Guinea, and the third test of whatever series would be the one that counted as World.
Yeah.
So I played in 93. Was it 93? Trying to think. No, not 93. 92. In the World Cup final, we played at Wembley.
Yeah.
Against Australia.
Yeah.
Steve Renouf.
This is for England or Great Britain?
No,
England.
No, it's for Great Britain. We played against Australia, and Steve Renouf scored. I think we lost 12.
Fuck, what a player.
6 or 12-4, yeah. Well, again, Kevin Walters, and the story there was, Malcolm, we had Gary Connolly playing in the centre against the Pearl. I've actually caught up with the Pearl, strangely enough, at the Caxton about a couple of months ago. We were talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
And I told him this very same story. So we were always worried about the Pearl getting on the outside with a Kevy out ball.
Yeah.
And Gary Connolly was one of the best, if not the best defender in the centre. He was just brilliant. So we were going, and we were like, I think we were something like 6 or 8-0 up, or 8-2 up. Anyway, I can't remember, but it was close and we were in front. And Gary got injured. And they brought a kid on who's one of my favourite ever fellas. He's a top bloke. Welsh fella called John Deverell.
Okay.
He played at Manly.
Oh, right.
On the wing.
Welshman, eh? That's why he's a good lad, see?
Anyway, so John came on, and they put him in the centre.
Pearl tore him up.
Do you know when you see someone it's in slow motion?
Yeah.
And we just trained so much for that out ball thing. And anyway, Kevy went on, he come to the left and he's just thrown the ball. And it was like in slow motion. And I could see Devs coming in to try and catch it. He's missed it. It's gone straight outside. Pearl scores. Lose the world.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Dev's fault. And that sounds terrible. He was a top bloke, John. And he'd just come on. He probably hadn't got his
you'd make a
feet.
wrong decision too. Like you can't really.
Yeah, but Muller drilled it into everybody anyway. That's just how it was. And look, Gary could have been on there, and it just might have been one of those brilliant balls that Gary wouldn't have read either, because they scored a million tries like that.
Yeah,
Kevy and the Pearl, they just set outside ball. But So we played in the World Cup final there. Played the World Cup final in '95 in the actual World Cup with England.
Okay.
Yeah. So
do you prefer do you think they could ever go back to a Great Britain side, or do you think England, because England's quite strong now, but
I think they're trying to. It's the same as they're just trying to.
What do you think's better?
They're trying to widen the whole thing, and again, there's probably not enough in the pool.
Right, not enough talent.
Just need to grow it a little bit, but I don't care. I'd watch anything. If it was Great Britain and Australia, or Great Britain and New Zealand, great. If it was England and New Zealand, or England and I'd watch. Well, I'd watch football anyway. But still, they'd be great games anyway.
Yeah. Who's been your favourite player, you reckon, across, or like funniest lad to be around, or
to play with or against?
Or both, maybe both.
Sorry, well, it's a bloody hard question.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I think to play against, probably Lazo was hard to play against.
Yeah. The brick with eyes. That's what they used to call him, eh?
Yeah, he
was a freak.
He was just solid from top to
Yeah.
bottom. He was very, very hard to tackle, very hard to run over. Yeah. I'm talking from a front row point of view. Gillespie cement was just pain. But they were all good. I played against Roachy, that's how old I am.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he just intimidated everybody.
Yeah.
And he refereed the game too.
True.
In '85, I played at Wests, and Wests were near the bottom. We weren't as good as thing, but we played against Wynnum and Souths. Souths had Meninga and Belcher, and Wynnum had Wally and G. Miles, Colin Scott, and Greg Dowell and all those fellas. So Wally was probably in that sort of '85 era around there. I mean, he was just again would dominate the game and then referee the game as well.
Like Cameron Smith, eh?
Like Cameron Smith.
Unbelievable. They just have they have an aura about them that allows them to do that.
Dictate the pace of the game.
And there's not many that can do that.
Yeah.
In your opinion, who's your GOAT? Who would you say you think your favourite player of all time is? From any era? Hard question again.
Yeah. Well, when you look at it, not just I think Wally's got to be up there running the thing, but obviously from a personal point of view, Mal in '80s, the early '80s, mid '80s, late '80s, yep. He won comps at Souths in Brisbane. He won comps with us in the UK, and he went to Canberra and was just a legend. Yeah. So, those two would have to be right up there.
Yeah. Yep, that's awesome.
From an English point of view, I'd go Ellery.
Yep.
Outstanding. Yep. Andy Gregg. And then I'd go New Zealand, Dean Bell. Probably.
Awesome.
I think that, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the English players, because there's been a lot, especially recently, I feel a lot more English players coming over to the NRL and making their mark.
And they do. They run a mock over.
Especially in your position too. Yeah, the Burgess brothers, James Graham.
James Graham was awesome.
Adrian Morley. Yeah. There's been some bloody top quality players. What do you think about that sort of crop that have came and etched their name over here.
I think it's great. I think it's great for the game. I think it's great for them. I think it's, I suppose that it weakens the competition over there, but not so. I get that, but they've got to further what they're doing. But I think internationally, it makes people then look, so that the NRL is on live in England on a Saturday morning.
Okay.
We're getting the Super League games.
Yep.
So that's got to be good for both games. I mean, obviously there's a lot of players that are playing in the Super League that played here. So when you watch it, you go, oh, yeah, that's such a player that played in Super League. So that creates interest, and that's what you need to do.
Makes the game bigger, yeah.
Absolutely. And the two young kids, the kid who was at Newcastle at the Roosters, the winger, and then the young kid that's playing at Newcastle in the second row. You know what I mean? And then they've got the Smithies who's at Canberra.
Yeah.
It's great because people watch the NRL in England. They go, oh, okay.
And a lot of the guys getting that top experience, I suppose, because you would say, I suppose, the NRL's a premier comp.
Oh,
I suppose,
absolutely.
So the English guys getting that experience week in, week out, and then going back to play international footy, it's made a lot better for
Level them up a
England.
bit,
Absolutely. I mean, before the Warriors and New Zealand, they're all played over.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some of those Australian New Zealand games in the mid '80s at Carlo Park, with Wally and Olsen Filipana and all that. Wow, they were brutal. They were the best games you've ever seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they all really plied the trade in the ARL or whatever it was then. I think it's good for the game, and it's a global game, and every game's a global game now. You golf, your rugby union, the people are flying into them everywhere. Yeah. The kid, what's his name? The centre for East, is going to rugby union.
Oh yeah. Who just got sent off?
Suwali.
The lad who just got
So Ali's going to rugby union in Australia. No, Joey Manu. He hasn't got an option. He's going taking his family and playing rugby union.
Yeah,
it's a worldwide.
Yeah,
it's so easy to get here, and everywhere, and that's good. I mean, that's good for the game. It makes it a lot more interesting when you're watching different sides or whatever.
Definitely. Yeah. Now, well, we've actually got a new game. We haven't done this before, so
oh god, that
first player here. We've got a new game. I've got a bunch of footy team names here. These are actual club names from around Australia too. It's not like some fucking social sport that you just enter a team in and call them anything. These are actual club names, and you got to pick your favourite.
Okay.
All right. So we've got the Barcaldine Sandgoaners. We've got the Jamboree Superoos. We've got the Woolgoolga Seahorses, the Bombardary Swamp Rats, or the Mullumbimby Ocean Shores Moonshiners.
I think we got the Mullumbimby, haven't we?
Mullumbimby Ocean Shores Moonshiners.
They are. You'd have to play for them. Imagine doing the embroidery on the shirt.
I actually looked up their logo. It's sick. It's this little hobo looking fellow with a fucking bottle of
with a glass bottle.
Yeah, it's awesome. Imagine the announcer yelling out.
Little tongue twister, eh?
So yeah, we'll have that with a few guests coming up. I think
that's good.
There's plenty of
You've done well, Aidan.
Thanks, mate. Just trying to spice it up a bit, No, there's plenty of bloody crazy names out there. I thought they would G up some of these teams that you see, and it's like these are actual clubs.
Unreal, eh? It's like a troll. It's like a piss take.
What is that Mullumbimby? What is it again? Mullumbimby what?
Mullumbimby Ocean Shores Moonshiners.
What are they? An ocean shore moonshiner.
Just fucking hobos that live by the beach and drink moonshine, I suppose.
Is that what it is, really?
Fucks me.
Oh, wow.
And we got the usual guest questions.
Yeah.
We asked all the guests. So we've already asked you, favourite athlete outside of, how about outside of rugby league?
Oh, okay, right.
Because we talked a lot about that already.
Favourite athlete outside of, well, I'm not a massive basketball fan, but I did watch that Michael Jordan thing.
Oh, that's amazing, yeah.
Last Dance.
He's just
that mentality, eh?
next level. So he's got to be up there. But I've got to throw a soccer player in. I've got a soccer. I'm gonna throw a fella called Kevin Keegan. Played for Liverpool.
Oh yeah.
Striker. Yeah, okay.
He was there. He came before Kenny Dalglish.
Yep.
He was next level.
And what's your soccer team?
Well, I'm a Man City fan, but everybody says to me, "Well, that's only because they're winning." But no, they were in the third division. When I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me and my brother, we were like Liverpool and Manchester. So we were right in the middle, but right on the East Lancs Road.
Oh, right, yeah.
Manchester was 30 miles down one side and Liverpool was 30 miles down the other. So Liverpool and Man City were always sort of our...
Yeah,
my mum went for Liverpool, so we used to always go to the Man City-Liverpool games.
You ever get caught up or ever witness any of that hooligan, the crazy...
No, heaps of it, yeah.
That's wild. Surely get some...
Did any of that stuff ever sort of transfer over into the league? Or you guys didn't have that as much?
Not really. Not really. A little bit. I mean, it's just a bit of tribalism, really. That gets at
It's
them.
wild, but some of the videos.
Because you get some nutters that just want to do it. But if you ever get a chance to go and you get to Liverpool and go to the Cop and actually, well, it's all seated now, but it never used to be. And in the Anfield, I went and watched the game in I'm going back a little bit now here. Probably late 70s, and Liverpool played Saint Etienne in a European Cup game at Anfield. And I would have only been 15 or 16. And you literally go in the Anfield Road, and there's 1,000 people too many in there.
Just chalkers.
They don't care, just tramming you in, right? And you stood there, you're watching the game, and if the ball goes near the net, they all come forward, you dead set are picked up off your feet, and you're surfing. You're surfing for like 10 metres, and you don't know how you're going to get back.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you come back. It was nuts. It was the craziest thing I've ever been in there.
Yeah,
It's just crazy.
They have amazing atmospheres over there compared to like the country bank or dairy
and
farmers.
They all sing and they're there. So my brother's son, so my nephew, Matthew Platt, I'll give you a ring. He just signed for Notts County. So
Shout out, Matty Platt.
Go, Maddie. So he was at Bradford and he's left Bradford. He's gone to Notts County. Okay. So he's playing professional footy and has done for the last few years. But my brother goes to all these places. So they played. Have you ever watched that thing called on I think it'd be about Wrexham with Ryan Reynolds and the other blokes? So these two blokes have bought the oldest soccer club in the UK.
I've heard of this. Yeah.
So Ryan Reynolds and they picked him up. They're in the non-league thing. Put a heap of money in him. It's a really great documentary.
What they're trying to build up this club.
Yeah. So now so they've
from the
gone,
actor Ronald Reynolds.
Yeah, right.
So they've gone non-league, third division, second division. So now they're in the first division. He took them all the way.
Oh, so they're actually wow, unreal.
So my brother went down to Wrexham to watch Matthew play. They beat Wrexham 1-0 down there. Thinking. But my brother just says the best place is if you go to the away games. So he was at Bradford then. If you go to the away games, they have a different sort of supporter for the away games that have a completely different genre on what they sing and chant.
Oh, yeah.
That's not allowed to be chanted at the home games. He said it's like a forbidden thing. So all the away, we only go to the away games and we chant this thing, and they make these songs up, and it's just
that chanting and
awesome,
stuff.
It is. It's one of the cool. I wish we had it here in Australia. It's so cool, man.
Yeah.
I took Alicia. She's 21, but I took her when we were back in England, and she never watched one bit of the game. She's just looking at the crowd,
Just the atmosphere, just loving it.
Dad, what are they singing? What are they singing now? I said, I can't tell you, love. Swearing, I can't tell you. But the Wigan St Helens game is as similar to soccer as you can get because they hate each other.
There is that,
and they sing whatever they can about the Wigan. They sing about the thing, And it's just like it's memorizing. Like I said, Alicia, you just going, what they're saying, Dad? I said, no, you don't need to know that.
She wouldn't understand a lot of the lingo and that,
No,
would she? Yeah.
no. She just knows they're all in tune. And she's going, why are they, what are they singing, Dad? I said, oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's crazy that fucking thousands
So
of drunk
she
men can
watched
be in
none of the
tune.
game. She watched none of the game. She was just watching the
It'd be
crowd.
entertaining as hell.
Yeah, no, it's great. And and obviously the soccer's the next level, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's
I thought you might have chosen a golfer for your buddy athlete. Eh?
yeah. But who do I choose? I can't choose Tiger.
Cam Smith.
Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
So no, if I was going to pick somebody, I'd have to pick somebody like Daly. You know what I mean? Imagine him. Imagine having a night out with him.
Yeah, he's unreal, eh?
Imagine having a night out with him. You'd just be unbelievable.
He was like a reserve grade player playing A grade, eh? Just like didn't give a fuck.
But just could hit it a million miles. And they were all getting fit and that, and he was going getting, he
Running
was
them
going to
up.
smoke and drink.
That's awesome.
I mean, I do know Alfie, but not really well. But I know I'd sooner go out. You can tell me who to go out with. I'd be Alfie and
John Daly.
John Daly.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, that'd be a loose night.
Wild night.
Wow.
What about if you could only eat one type of food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, Jesus.
I love that question. Keeps
One
people on
type
their
of
toes, eh?
Fucking Jesus.
Kev said potato bake the first time we asked this. Kev said potato
I'll stand
bake.
by that too.
Potato.
Potato
like
bake,
very general, like
What would I
very specific.
Wasn't even potatoes.
Yeah.
Potato bake.
I reckon it'd have to be apple pie and custard.
Yeah.
What every meal you're gonna have that for
I love
breakfast,
apple pie and
lunch,
custard.
dinner.
That's my favourite ever.
Do you warm the apple pie up?
Oh, and
Surely, yeah, warm.
And I'm gonna throw I'm gonna throw in the apple crumble.
Level it up a bit. Oh, what is the next one? What's something you're not good at?
Oh, God, how long have we got?
Yeah, that's what I'll be saying, dude.
Golf.
Yeah, fuck.
Try hard, but
Try. How do you
give it a
try?
red on crack.
How do you try? The worse you are. I'm not good at a lot of stuff, but driving.
What's something you're good at that people would be surprised by? A little hidden talent.
I wouldn't have a clue. I'm probably rubbish at anything. The only thing I say that is that I'm not good at it, but I was good enough. I did the island swim.
oh yeah.
So I did the 8K. So I wasn't a brilliant swimmer, but I thought to myself, I'm going to do that island swim one day. And I trained for it, and I did it, and did the 8K. Never again.
Wicked, bud. Fucking hats off to you. Never again, eh?
No.
Ticked
And
it off.
my shoulder's gone now, so I can't swim anyway. But yeah, that was actually that was hard.
8K, I'm
Yeah,
flat out
that's
swimming at 100 metres, man. That's,
I
yeah.
know. It was rough. It was
How
hard.
long did you have to train
Yeah.
for?
Oh, well, for a couple of years, but the actual training thing was probably 2 or 3 months, and you got to do a qualifying swim and all that.
Oh, do
And
you?
It's just going on now, so they're all doing it. So I did a couple of relays where you do 2K, and I thought, no, I'm going to do the 8.
Where exactly do they do it?
So they take you. So the relay goes from Townsville over to Picnic Bay,
Yep.
and then the singles change and they come back this way.
And there's just obviously boats and that cruising along with you.
You have to have a paddler with you.
Yeah, okay.
You used to have cages, big steel cages, but they were just horrendous.
Yeah, right. Yep.
So now you used to have a paddler.
Yep.
No, that's good. I've still got a lot of good friends that swim. I don't, but that was, that's hard.
It's a hard sport, man.
That's a hard
I can't do it.
That's
Yeah.
a hard sport.
Like I suck at swimming.
Same.
What about what's a favorite quote or like motto that you really like, or you might try and live your life by? Or
Wow. Could you send these before you came?
Yeah, keep them on their toes, eh? That one stumps a lot of
yeah,
people.
this is a hard one because
Yeah.
there's so many good quotes out there.
Yep.
But
Okay, well, see, I was never the biggest bloke, and I watch Reuben Cotton now, and I think and he epitomises it to the nth degree. It's not the the size of the dog in the fight; it's the size of the fight in the dog.
yeah.
Yep.
Say no more.
That's a good one. That is
Yeah,
a
that
good
would
one.
resonate good. Because what was your sort of stats when you were playing up front, like playing front row.
Oh, well, I was probably a lot bigger than I am now, but like I was never massively tall. I was never the biggest bloke. Like, I had a bit of speed and a bit of what have you. I don't know.
100 kegs.
But I see, oh yeah, no, I was about 104 in Auckland, but
Yeah.
I just couldn't train. I couldn't run, so I was only just, my training was doing pretty much what I think Jason Tamalalo was doing. He was just, off feet stuff, so he just like rower and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like he's got similar problems to what I had. His knees look sore and his that, and you can't, those days, you training, you'd be running 4 hours on 400 repeats. Well, that just would kill me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to play at the weekend.
Yeah.
So, so I put a bit of weight on when I was a little older, but I was always a little bit smaller. Probably about the same size as Ruben, maybe a little bit chubby, a bit bigger. Yeah. But he's just like...
Yeah, he just goes workhorse.
He's a beast.
He's my favourite.
Yeah, same. Well, I actually know Tommy Dearden's my favourite at the moment.
Yeah,
I love
no,
him,
well,
Tommy
he's halfback. He's half smart.
True.
No, awesome. Really appreciate the chat, Andy.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
I just hope people know who I am. Really see it. They'll go, this bloke, old
Do you
boy.
ever get, or like if you go back home, do you like get recognised in that?
Yeah, I do, but they're all grey.
Yeah.
So I went back. That was back 12 months ago. My mum was a bit crook, and we went back and we went to the Saints Wigan game, and it was I said I took my daughter. My daughter was there, and me. So me and my brother, his 2 boys, my youngest son and Alicia went. So there's all the. Anyway, we went to the game. St Helens Tower, Wigan up. I was going for Wigan. They were on the St Helens. So the towel is up. We ended up going in the pub. And went in this pub. And we sat there. And these 3 people come over. And can you stand? And my daughter's going.
That would be cool for her to see. Why do you want to talk to him?
Who's it? What?
And obviously you seem like a sort of lad who don't like to talk about too much of your footy stuff and that, or so.
Well, it's no, I don't mind talking about it, but I don't. You know what I mean? I'm not going to ram.
Go boasting about it. Yeah.
I'm just, if people ask me, I'll tell them. And I'm not dropping names, but so I get Thurston comes and plays golf a couple of times, and we were talking to him. We were talking, and we were asking, and I said to him, I said, mate. And he just finished, and I said that was the hardest time for me, just finishing. And he probably might be not for him. I don't know. He's a different leg. I said, but it's a special part of your life. That footy thing. It's not a normal life. For him, would be 1,000% harder than what I had. I had a little bit of it, and it's not a normal. But Jesus, it's the best time of your life. And that's what I said to him. I said it was the best time of my life. I'll never ever get that back.
Yeah.
That's gone. I'm on a different path now.
How was it sort of going into that retirement sort of phase? And because I've heard a few lads sort of struggle to find themselves because it's your identity for so long, I suppose.
Well,
and
especially for a lot of the kids now, they're brought up from 14, 15, they're looked after all the way through, and it's sad. You got to fight your way in the normal. Just like everybody else does, you got to find something you sort of half like to work, and that's a big transition for some of these guys. I understand it 100%. It wasn't easy for me either, but you just get on with it, and you sort of thought, for me, I just sort of went, okay, well, that's the past life. Let's get on with a new one.
Start a new one.
Next chapter, yeah.
I'm proud of what I did, but that's doesn't define me. I've also got what I do now. So.
Oh, awesome, man. No, I think it is definitely something to look back on and be proud of. Some of them stories are pretty amazing when you look at them, and coming up against them giants and man of the match, all this. So,
Man of Steel.
So everyone look up Andy Platt. Listen to this. Look him up. We might get your name back out there.
We get the highlights reel happening.
I'm not. Don't contact me on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook. I am a definite dinosaur.
No, thanks for coming on, Andy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time, casuals.
Yeah,
Peace out.